Thank you, sir. So with your permission, Gosavi ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Hello and good afternoon. Myself, Sheetal Gosavi, Faculty of Computer Department, takes opportunity to welcome you all, respected delegates, distinguished guests, esteemed IEI members, and dear participants. On the behalf of the Institute of Engineers, Maharashtra State Center, in association with Nasik Local Center and SNJB's HHB Polytechnic Chandwad, I welcome you all for the expert session on 4G to 5G, a milestone in telecommunication evolution on the occasion of World Telecommunication and Information Society Day. First of all, I welcome Engineer M.R. Kothari, sir, Fellow of Institution of Engineers here in IEI, Maharashtra State Center, and Vice President of IEI. Please welcome, sir. I welcome Engineer V.C. Kamble, sir, Fellow of IEI, Honorable Secretary, IEI Maharashtra State Center. I welcome Engineer R. Mehta, sir. He is a Fellow of Institution of Engineers and Honorable Secretary of Nasik Local Center, IIM Maharashtra State Center. Principal respected Dr. Vishal Wankhede, sir, who is elected member of IIM Maharashtra State Center from Electronics and Telecommunication. It's a pleasure to extend a warm welcome to our resource person, Dr. Shweta Shah, ma'am. We are truly privileged to have such a distinguished expert joining us today. Most welcome, ma'am. Today is the World Telecommunication and Information Society Day. It is celebrated on 17th May. Marks the anniversary of signing of the first International Telecom Convention and the creation of the International Telecommunication Union, ITU. The main objective of the day was to raise global awareness of the social changes brought about by the and new technologies. It also aims to help to reduce the digital divide. Now I request Dr. Kothari sir, the head of ITI and Chairman IEI, Center and Vice President of IEI, to kindly guide us on the auspicious. Please, sir.
Thank you so much. At the outset, let me welcome on behalf of the Maharashtra State Center. I welcome all the participants for this seminar on this World Telecommunication Day. So, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and today's faculty, on this occasion of World Telecommunication Day, it is honor to stand before you and address the transformative power of communication that has revolutionized our world. Today, we celebrate the progress made in the field of telecommunication, recognize the impact it has had on societies, economies, and our collective well-being. Telecommunications has come a long way since its humble beginnings. From the invention of the telegraph to the advent of the internet and the widespread use of mobile phones, our ability to connect and communicate has evolved at an extraordinary pace. The world has become a global village where distance no longer poses a barrier to sharing information, ideas, and experiences. Telecommunication has played an instrumental role in promoting inclusively and fostering interconnectedness. It has bridged the gaps between individuals, communities, and nations, allowing for the exchange of knowledge, culture, and commerce. It corners in remote corners of the globe, telecommunication has brought education and healthcare to those who were previously deprived of such opportunity. It has empowered entrepreneurs and business, enabling them to flourish and contribute to the growth of economies worldwide. Today, we also acknowledge the advancement in telecommunication that has played a pivotal role in overcoming the challenges posed by the global pandemic. During these unprecedented times, telecommunication has acted as a lifeline, connecting families, friends, and colleagues. When physical proximity was not possible, it has enabled remote work, distance learning, and virtual gathering, ensuring continuity in our personal and professional lives. However, as we celebrate the achievements of telecommunication, we must also recognize the existing disparities that hinder access to its benefits. In this digital age, we must strive to bridge the digital divide, ensuring that every individual, regardless of their location, income, or background, can harness the power of communication. We must invest in infrastructure, foster digital literacy, and promote affordable connectivity, leaving no one behind in this interconnected world. Moreover, as we embrace the boundless opportunities presented by telecommunication, we must also remain vigilant about the ethical considerations surrounding use. Privacy, data protection, and cybersecurity must be at the forefront of our efforts to safeguard the trust and integrity of our interconnected systems. Let us work together to develop robust frameworks and policies that protect the rights and well-being of individuals in this ever-evolving digital landscape. On this Telecommunication Day, let us reflect upon the extraordinary progress we have made and the immense potential that lies ahead. Let us celebrate the power of communication to inspire positive change, foster understanding, and build a more inclusive and sustainable world. Together, let us commit to leveraging telecommunication for the greater good, shaping a future where communication knows no boundaries. With this, I would like to conclude with best wishes to all of you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your kind words, sir. Now it's my immense pleasure to introduce today's eminent speaker, Dr. Shweta Shah, ma'am. Dr. Shweta Shah is an assistant professor at the Electronics Engineering Department at Sardar Vallabhbhai National Institute of Technology, Surat, Gujarat, India. She has been working with SVNIT since 2004. Dr. Shweta completed her BE in Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering in 2004, MTech in Communication Systems in 2008, and PhD in Wireless Communication in 2015. She is handling various administrative and academic responsibilities. She has guided 50 plus UG projects on multiple objectives. 10 plus PG dissertations, 5 PhD scholars have defended their vivos under her guidance. She is currently mentoring 5 PhD scholars, 1 dissertation, and 2 PG and UG projects. She has worked on 2 funded projects from IP-based projects as well. Currently, DST-funded project is going on under her mentorship. Dr. Shah has 30 plus reputed international journal publications, 21 international conference publications, 6 book chapters, and co-authored a book. 3 patents are also registered in her name. She has organized 20 plus programs for faculties researchers and the students in wireless communication, IoT, GNSS, etc. She has delivered 29 expert talks on various topics as per the research demand. Dr. Shah is a member of many professional societies like IEEE, IETE, ISTE, ACM, and ION. Presently, she is additionally working as a society coordinator at ASHINE, that is Association for Harnessing Innovation and Entrepreneurship Incubation Center. Such a wonderful profile, ma'am. We are really obliged to have you here. Today, we have the incredible opportunity to learn directly from Dr. Shweta Shah, ma'am. Her insights and perspectives are invaluable, and I have no doubt that her presentation will leave us inspired and equipped with new knowledge and ideas. So let us extend a warm virtual applause and give her a sounding welcome to our eminent speaker, Dr. Shweta Shah, ma'am. Thank you for gracing us with your presence, ma'am.
Thank you.
Once again. Let us begin this engaging session with Dr. Shah, ma'am. Please stick with the session, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you so much for such a wonderful welcome. I really appreciate that. So, respected Kothari sir, Chairman IER, MSc, Vice President IEI, Kamble sir, Honorary Secretary, Wankhede sir, for IEI member, faculty members, students, and participants. I'm really grateful for inviting me on this occasion of World Telecommunication Day, which is very close to my heart. And I'm heartily, I will try my best to give you the best what I have achieved till date. And for that, I would like to share my screen. Just give me a second. I hope the screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Fine. So, yeah, as we are talking about something related to the telecommunication, right? So this would be what my presentation flow. We'll try to stick to this, but I would like to give the knowledge which is gathered till time, and I would like to spread it to as many as people or students or scholars who can give their best in the upcoming years of India in terms of telecommunication inventions. So we are connected with communication, and a communication word is very small in its name, but it is boundaryless where we talk about technology. So basically, this World Telecommunication Day celebrated since 17th May of 1969, and this was basically the same date when the International Telegraph Union was founded. Also, the first International Telegraph Convention was signed in Paris on 17th May 1865, and formally, which was constituted in 1973 at the ITU conference. It began with the day named as World Information Day. Initially, it was known as World Information Day, which was changed to World Information Society Day, and now it is known as World Telecommunication Day from the year 2006. So this World Telecommunication Day Union have created year-wise topical themes that actually guides us or guide world that how the communication is going to play a role in our daily life. What sort of milestones researchers have to achieve in the field of communication so that no one left behind. As Kothari sir has rightly mentioned that communication is connected to each and every person in so many manner. But if we talk about or talk in relation with the technological expansion, it has no boundary. It is seamless as a sky where we can reach the way our reach is. So if I just talk about the last 10 years of this World Telecommunication Day themes, so if I talk about 2013, it was like information and communication technology and improving road safety. Now, once we understand the individual milestone at every year was it is going to give us the idea that how systematically the communication field have been developed or evolved, and what sort of research have been done to achieve the requirement in that sort. In 2014, if I talk about it, it was related to the broadband for sustainable development. Why I have taken only 10 years of span? Because I know the participants are mostly from the recent years and they are connected with the recent technology, right? So at least if the 10-year of span, if we observe with the World Telecommunication Day, we can understand that how systematically the technology have moved. In 2015, the theme was related to the telecommunication and ICT's diverse of innovation, right? So these are the years, what I'm keeping here right now will be connected with the timeline or timely evolvement of the telecommunication technology. In 2016, it was named as ICT Entrepreneurship for Social Impact. These are, in 2017, it was Big Data for Big Impact. If you go back and identify the history, we have started with certain buzzwords like big data, data computing, and AI and all that stuff, right? So these are the technology we have already created that intuitions that something big is going to happen in the communication field. In 2018, it was like enabling the positive use of artificial intelligence for all. The seeds of every technology have already been before 5 years. And according to that, the overall roadmap have been created. In 2019, it was bridging the standardization gap because every technology is coming up with different advancement, different technology, different innovations. But in a way, we need standardization. And that's why in 2019, the theme was related to bridging the standardization gap. In 2020, it was Connect 2030. I mean, information and communication technologies for sustainable development goals. Means it was future planning so that we can connect 2020 and see the horizon of up to 2030 that how the technology is going to move. In 2021, it was related to accelerating digital transformation in challenging times. We have gone through 2019, the COVID era. We understood that how the challenging time can come and how it can be helped, how it can be solved, or how it can be managed. So for that also, it was a thought that it has to be in the pipeline to understand that how we can accelerate the digital transformation in the challenging times. In 2022, it was related to the digital technologies for older persons and healthy aging. Now, if I talk about the recent theme for 2023 is, it's a unique opportunity to showcase the work ITU does and together with its member and partners to support least developed countries. Till now, majority of part of the world are connected with communication and networks, but still there are people who are left behind. So how to connect these LDCs, that is least development countries, by deepening digital divide, a decade of halting progress on connectivity. One has to start working on connecting the people who are left behind, because now if these people are left behind, they are not going to connect with the world. So our role would be, let's partner to connect. Our efforts should be in this direction. So whatever the provision the World Telecommunication Day is imposing is to create the technology, to create the platform where everyone should connect it and remains connected. So why we basically celebrate World Telecommunication Day? That's a very normal question one can ask, or who are not aware with it, or the new generations never goes with the history. So we need to understand the importance of the celebration of World Telecommunication Day. So it's an efficient telecommunication network is a foundation on which information society is built. Today, the communication is like roti, kapda, makan, and communication. We cannot live without communication network. If our phone gets die by a battery or somehow out of network, we become impatient. So one can understand that what level of dependency we have on our communication network or the services what we use today, right? So it's a it is celebrated to increase what? The awareness about the positive of communication technology among public. We don't need to only use the service or the technology, but we need to create awareness as well. It also aims to make information and communication more accessible to people residing in remote and rural areas. As I said, that the theme for 2023 is to connect the rural areas, remote place where still the technology have not reached. This is the digital age, and we cannot imagine a day without gadgets, let alone imagine how life would have been without the evolution of telecommunication. No one can imagine. But we are the few generations who have already seen, I mean, the Kothari Sahib and other elder person have seen the telephone to the mobile with the 5G. They know that how the technology have transformed. So the World Telecommunication Day celebrates the constant evolution of one of the most important factors of our lives, that is communication. And the main goal is to highlight the importance of communication and how information travels across the world. We would still have been writing letters to each other if it was not for telecommunication. So it have made our life easier, and it is the key of our personal and professional success. So we need to understand that how we reach to this particular path or the stage of technology, right? So if I just talk about no G to 1G generation or technology evolution. So these are the people who have played a very, very small role, but very, very important role in developing and reaching or keeping or taking us at this particular level of technology. The Che brothers in 1973, they've established the first commercial semaphore system between two locations near Paris. You can see the picture that how the communication was happening by placing some, the hardware, or it is called a semaphore, which was having some alphabetical letters, and according to the position, the people were able to see from the distance. Then the invention of telegraph and Morse code have come up in 1837, where Samuel Morse and Alfred Vail have given that innovation or add-on to the technology. It goes with the first telegram, which was in 1838, across 2 miles or 3 kilometers, right? Where it was, the message what being sent was what had God wrought. So from the capital in Washington to the old Mount Clair depot in Baltimore. Then the telephone have come up with the Graham Bell creation, where the people were able to talk directly with each other, which was the first device. And it has actually bring a totally a new era in terms of telecommunication field. And then the first telephone was introduced by AT&T. The picture basically gives you the history that how it have been evolved with the hardware and the software. And after that, the Martin Cooper and Joseph Mitchell have created the first mobile phone that can make and receive telephone calls over a radio link while moving around a wide geographic area. It does so by connecting the cellular network to the operator and allowing this public telephone network to connect. And it was in 1973. So this is the first mobile phone. We cannot imagine the weight of it. It was around 1 kg, right? So the people who have started working, created this magical device for us. We should be very much grateful that people have had such thought to create something in the field of communication. And after that, we are well aware with these devices where they have changed a lot in these days, and you can use phone as a computer and so many other things because it is capable of so many computation power. So overall conclusion, if I talk about this no G to 1G, it has changed a lot. In the old days, people communicate by noises and translated. They figured out how to speak directly by phone. And next, they created the mobile phone that allow people to talk to each other in every place that they want. So if I talk about the similar thing with the Indian perspective, so what are the significant history related to India in the field of telecommunication? So the very first technology or very first way of connecting was trunk booking. This evolved by having an operator who is there sitting at the exchange and connecting the wires to create a call. The young generation won't have this understanding that how they are facilitated by their bond that they are having a mobile in their hand, but how this technology have reached, what people have made a very good invention, very good efforts to bring this technology at this level. They, at that time, the operator were manually doing that and they were able to listen the conversation. And today we are very much concerned about our privacy. There were three kinds of calls, like regular, urgent, and lightning, and they were at the time of like entire day to within hours or within an hour, depending on the emergency of a call. Next, which was related to the advancement reaches to the subscriber trunk dialing, where we got better connectivity. Operator was out of the job. We could able to have a frame, or you can say a standard, that how a number would be made up with city code and the phone number. And the rates for calls were different, day and night. And the business opportunity were like anything. People have started doing that. There were so many STD poles or booths were there where they were easy to get connected. And after 2010, the standardization have been made and the call rates have begun fall, and it is almost very, very less. After that, the internet have introduced, the call is possible to have. Now what is next? So the curiosity of next in technology brings new innovation. That is what my philosophy says, that if you are hungry to the technology or facility, you always go for new invention, right? So in 1986, the internet was available, but it was available with few research institutes and universities. Where in 1995, on 15th August, BSNL, that is Videsh Sanchar Nigam, we are well aware with BSNL, but nobody knows about BSNL. What I understand is they have first brought the internet to the consumer. And at that time, the cost of internet was 5,000 per year for a student and something like that, where the speed was 133 kbps. We even don't know how 133 kbps is useful at that time, but it was important. Even a 1 MB picture was taking half an hour to download. And like today, everything is within a fraction of a second with a good speed. Then with that, there was one more technology came into the picture, that is paging services, which was having a one-way communication device, but much cheaper than telephones or cell phones. Of course, the freedom of movement have started with the pagers, where the people can be connected, but it was limited to numeric values or alphanumeric values only. So till time, we can consider this as a no G era, because these are the different technologies which have come up to connect people. But still there were so many limitations, and the expectations from the people or the consumers were so high that one by one the things were transformed in terms of generations. And then the mobile phone revolution came, where the cellular network have been divided, created, and according to that, different licensing were given within the country, and according to that, the services reaches to the people. Initially, the tariffs were very high, almost 16.8 rupees per minute. And in early 2000, the incoming calls were made free, which was very, very much costly in the early days. And after that, very first mobile phone generations, we were having the facility of internet, that calling was possible. So why don't we go with the other data services to add on to that? And for that, some protocols have been made in terms of wireless access protocol, where the email and the phone or the simple text was possible to transfer to each other. Then the personal digital assistants came into the picture, smartphones came into the picture, and in mid-2000, the browser-based internet access was also enabled on cellular phones. The gap, if you see, it was 10, 20, 15 years to bring to one stage to the other stage of the generations in the initial stages, of course. And after that, if you see the progress in terms of 2G, 3G, 4G, which signifies generation of different cellular networks. And today we are adopting to 5G. Here, I would definitely say that access rates have been dropped like anything in India. now has one of the lowest cellular calling charges in the world. So Indian progress is very much tremendous in this field. Now, here if I gives you the idea in terms of technological transformation from among the different generations. So 1G was only giving voice services with 14.4 kbps. It was analog in nature. In 2G, there were two phases where initially it was voice services with the digital communication, TDM and CDMA technology have made, and 2.5 or 2.75G was giving little higher data rate compared to the 2.G, and GPRS have introduced, that is general packet radio services, which was basically meant for the data services. After that, the 3G have evolved or came into the picture between 2004 to 2005, where voice data and smartphone application supports have been increased like anything. The improvement in the data rate was reaches to 3.1 Mbps, and there were different technology have come up. Then through 3.5G was little higher in terms of the speed and the other technology support, so that different services were possible to work in terms of video calling. Still, the people were not satisfied that the way the data should be accessed or available on their palm within a fraction of a second. And that have motivated towards 4G, where we could able to have voice over IP, multimedia, HD streaming, and the data rate have been reached up to 300 Mbps, which have supported different standards. And these different standards have been evolved with this timeline. If you just talk about only telecommunication, it's very difficult to cover each and every part of the communication, where different protocols have come, different standardized have been made, different speeds have been achieved, different technology have been evolved. So all these are the different directions where overall the final version as 3G, 4G or 5G we are using. They are too broad in that nature, which cannot be covered in such a small span. But definitely, by observing the evolving technology in terms of speed, if you just concentrate, technology if you just concentrate, or protocol if you concentrate, it is exponential almost. With that, even with the 4G, it was supported with WiMAX, LTE, and Wi-Fi. And now we are going towards 5G. It is towards 5G, it is not actually came up with full-fledged facility. So that's why I have mentioned it is upcoming technology, where it is related to IoT, security, and autonomous driving and all. It deals with advanced LTE NOMA, that is non-orthogonal multiple access, and it has claimed the speed up to 1 to 10 Gbps. I mean, you can just look at the start was related to 14.4 kbps to 1 to 10 Gbps. It is the on paper values. Definitely, we have not achieved that on our mobile phones, but still, it is in the picture. It is the target. It is the ideal value, what have been expected based on the things or availability. So in a significant way, if I just identify that what are the impact of different generations. So 1G had started with wireless communication. So that was the base. That how the landline was transformed into first generation as wireless one. Definitely it was analog, but it has enabled mobile phones without being tethered to a landline. So very first thing, which was limitation of the older generation, or you can say no generation, mobility, privacy, and portability. These are the three things which were very much important or expected with the technology improvement. Then increased mobility. So it has created that ability to have or receive a call while moving or without any wired connection. So it has increased mobility and flexibility, which was expected, which was planned. But how to achieve that? That have come up with the technology improvement and innovations. Expanding connectivity. So initially it was like taking months, years to have a new connection. And nowadays, it's like few minutes to get a new connection, new number, right? So expansion with respect to connectivity was one of the biggest pioneer or biggest innovation or biggest support what different first generation have started with. So connecting people over longer distances, fostering better communication, between remote locations was the reality with the first generation. If I talk about second generation, which has switched from analog to digital communication. Now, why it is so? Because analog were having certain limitations in terms of, clear voice, drop calls, quality improvement. So all those limitations of first generation have overcome in the second generation, where they have introduced the digital communication and digital communication technology. They have replaced analog one. They have made the voice much more clearer in the calls, during the calls, and they have improved the quality too. They have even introduced text messaging. So initially it was like, if you call and somebody is not receiving, then it is difficult to convey the message at that time. So the text messaging is the another kind of service which was added, that okay, it can be offline or it cannot be real time, but still you can send the message. So text messaging was very much popular in the second generation, and people started having written communication as well. And today, if you see, young generation is more towards written communication rather than voice communication. They do with the social media, they go for texting majority of time rather than having a call. So SMS or concept of written communication has revolutionized the communication industry too. And the third, which is the part of second generation, is the mobile internet. It was the basic internet access on mobile phones, allowing access to the emails and web content. Means people come to know, okay, so with voice call and the SMS, we are able to access the information too. That was like a magic. With the add-on, with the further generation as third generation, the expectation or the hunger for the content utilization has increased, and the patience of speed have been decreased. So researchers, scientists have to work on improvement of internet facility and the speed with respect to quality and quantity both. So mobile internet expansion have been the major concern in the third generation, where they have different transfer rates. They have making mobile internet more practical and widely available, and also web browsing, email, and basic applications on mobile devices have been increased. Now you can click and you can find any sort of application. But if you just go in the era of 2004 to 2010, we were not having that many applications which were supporting the devices. Then video calling, which have combined voice and texting and giving a visual impact, like face-to-face communication over long distances, which have basically solved the issue where our loved ones were who are living far or in the other country, where it is very difficult to meet them on a regular basis. So this video calling have played a very important role and created much more demand. See, when you have a demand, people start working on it, creating something and try to solve it. And that is what a job of engineers are, right? So if this hunger is no more, we are no more. As an engineer, we are no more. So hunger has to be there, but it should be viable, it should be practical and solvable too. Then mobile applications, like we are very much facilitated with the social media, maps, productive tools, and they have gained popularity like anything. Now, after this, it was fine. Everything is available with the 3G. Then what is the role of 4G? As I said, the hunger have become much more stronger. And now we were expecting faster data rates, mobile multimedia, and IoT connectivity. So the buzzwords have been added with the years, and that have created that identifying the new technology and the solutions, right? That what is next, what comes next. So the faster data rates or the speeds have significantly become faster, which have like transformed from kbps to mbps to gbps, which has enhanced overall internet experience. Now, if you are if you are in conversation with someone, excuse me, and a word is coming which is not known to you, within a fraction of second, people are used to Google it and get, okay, fine, what you are saying is I'm getting it. So that mobile internet experience have become so easy, so seamless, that Like if you want to download something, fine, within a fraction of a second, you are able to download a video where 1 MB picture was taking half an hour to download. So you can see that how this service have been increased or expanded. Second is multimedia. As I said, people are more towards like gaming, video streaming services. You can see in the COVID time, we have seen so many YouTube channels have been come up, so many, like food, creativity, content creation, so many things. So overall, media is available within fraction of seconds, and it was possible to create that much content as well and deliver to every person around the world. And the last one is related to the IoT connectivity. Now we know what is Internet of Things. So Internet, from where it has come up? It has come up from the second generation. Sorry. So 4G has played a crucial role in the growth of IoT, because we are aware within this 4-5 years only past, we are talking about so much related to IoT. People are working on IoT projects, developing so many things, but the root is from second generation. And these IoT have enabled various kinds of devices and sensors to connect and communicate with each other. So imagine that we were connected with wired, then wireless, then written communication, then face communication, and now we are going to talk about sensor connectivity. And 5G is definitely its ultra fast connectivity, which is technically compared to very good compared to 4G, and even it has reduced the latency. Latency is one of the challenge with the 4G, where still we find sometimes delay. So latency was one of the problem which was to be solved by the 5G, and that is already there. People have even added something called augmented reality and virtual reality. So there are new possibilities also in gaming and entertainment and remote collaboration, where we don't need to be physically, but we can feel as having a physical communication by these augmented or virtual reality. We are able to imagine and converting them into the digital domain, and you can see digital twinning is another technology which is coming up. So we are sitting here learning the things in a 3D way, that we are connecting the components and creating a device and assembling them. So all these things have created as per the demand. Another is massive IoT connectivity. So it actually 5G supports simultaneous connection, means no, it's not like one-to-one connection, but the multiple connection. Even a smaller observation, if I say, with the WhatsApp calling, we were initially having 4 to 5 people in a group, and now it has been increased to 20, 25 plus. Right? So see the expansion. It's nothing like that WhatsApp has changed. WhatsApp have increased its facility, right? So massive connectivity is another thing which is required nowadays. We want to connect with each and every devices in our house with a single tip, single click. So how it is happening? And for that, so these are the advancement which have been added into the communication or technology or the network. Another major change have been introduced that is related to the industry transformation, where industries in terms of healthcare, manufacturing, transportation, and logistics, they have their own advancement and giving the feel that fine, sitting in my office, I can handle my manufacturing unit. I can observe the transportation, where my buses or the trucks are moving and how they are moving. What is the logistics? How my parcels are moving, everything. We can have the remote healthcare support as well. So the imagination should be that from no G to 5G, how we have reached. So a milestone, if I say your 1G was introduction of analog cellular network. Second G or second generation named as GSM. We are very well aware with global system for mobile communication, and the SMS was the add-on to that. Third generation was called as UMTS, that is Universal Mobile Telecommunication System, and it was based on CDMA, which has expanded the horizon in terms of bandwidth and given and have supported higher data rate, which was the limitation of the second generation. 4G is named as LTE, that is long-term evolution technology, which has provided significantly faster data speeds and lower latency, right? Even the mobile broadband have been expanded, and it has supported the streaming services, live matches, live programs from all over the world. And it has supported multimedia applications like anything, which has given the rise of mobile application ecosystems. We can see so many entrepreneurs, so many innovators are working on creation of startup or applications. Any technology you talk about, any innovation you talk about, everything is related to the application development, and that has to be supported by the device. But it has to get connected with the internet or communication. Otherwise, there is no use. So in a backend, the communication is a base on this technological building where we are living, and without which we cannot live today. And the 5G is definitely supporting with the millimeter wave and massive MIMO technology. As I said, it is connected with the massive connection. It supports the massive connectivity of the devices. So definitely the newer technology in terms of millimeter wave and massive wave, MIMO, have played a significant role in development of 5G. With that, people are working on AR, VR, and IoT. So it is like we want to get connected with everything and everywhere with faster data and low latency. So it's important to note that these milestones represent this just general trends in the evolution of mobile telecommunication, and the development of this technology is different in different countries and regions. So if I just talk about that, who are the users of it? So 5 leading countries based on the number of smartphones users. If I talk about, Russia is having 95.4 millions. It is the recent data, 2023. Brazil is having 96.9 millions. USA 260 millions. India 346 millions. And China 851 millions. So if you just see, India is the biggest market. It is the competitor to China. And as our Prime Minister sir is already saying that Atmanirbhar Bharat is giving opportunity to the electronics engineer, electronics and communication engineer, or any branch of engineer have to work. But communication has to be there. Whether you talk about mechanical, whether you talk about any other branch, civil, whatever, they all are going to use IoT for the sensor-based data collection, communication, and delivery of the same with the analysis. So if you don't have that communication, it is not going to work. So India is the biggest market, and students, scholars, and researchers are having ample number of opportunities to work in the electronics domain, communication domain. Even if I talk about the another step ahead, so till we have understood that how the growth have been made from 0G or no G to 5G, that how the communication advancement have been done, and what sort of technology they have worked. But now people are not stopping here. People have already started with 5.5G and 6G. So the major companies who are playing role in 5.5G is Huawei, Samsung, Taiwan, and Nokia. What these companies are saying, let me share you that. So basically 5.5G or advanced 5G is the prerequisite for 6G. They are claiming that 5.5G is going to have 10 times bandwidth of 5G, means 10 Gbps as a basic data rate. I mean, we are still surviving for 1G, and they have started making provision for 10 GB. Here the chips are going to connect to 5G network by default. I mean, the chips we are having in our mobile phones or the devices for the sensor and all, they all are going to supported by default with the 5G infrastructure. So you don't need to develop, and you don't need to find another thing that connect this chip to the network. And of course, the energy consumption is going to be reduced by factor of 10, which is another major concern in IoT industry. That the power consumption of the sensors or providing energy to the sensors is the biggest challenge. So how to reduce? So that is also one of the factors what the companies are working with. Every company what I have just listed out, they are not the only one, but they are the major ones. So I'm just focusing on that. And they all are working on different loopholes, or you can say limitations of the previous generations. Here the chips are connected to 5G, which can gives you automatically update on inventories. These are sensor detection technology basically. So they want to have this connectivity in such a way that you don't need even GPS to locate. Only the sensor based communication locate the device or the object or the animal where they are. Even they are enabling 3D displays without using special glasses what we use, and video calls with simultaneous language translation. You can imagine that what level of thought or the advancement people have already started working on. This is going to give you so many research problems to work upon. You can focus on this, you can search on this, that how it is going to happen, that during a video call, how the simultaneous language translation, I mean, you are just breaking the barriers between the generations and the people with the different religions or regions. 5.5G, definitely it's the still it is in specialization or standardization, and there is no product available, but these are expectations. As I said, expectation hunger is the seed of innovation. So this is what the said by the architect of this Huawei. If I talk about Samsung, so they are basically focusing on network virtualization and open RAN, radio access network, which is going to provide services to use non-proprietary sub-components from various vendors. Now, see, proprietary items gives, I mean, it limits the utilization. So Samsung is working on that. What is the advantage with Samsung is they have in-house chip production, and that is no other vendor is having. So that is the where the Samsung stand along. Even they are trying to shrink the chip size. So miniaturization, lightweight, compactness is going to be achieved, lowering power consumption, and designing these 5G network radios to suit different customers, regions, and frequencies. So it may be a flexible or you can say interface kind of thing that anywhere it is going to work. So they are actually adopting infrastructure to 5G and 5G advanced. So the network solution architect of Samsung says that you can't just throw away all the existing devices. You have to develop a smooth transition that can be rolled out gradually. So definitely it should be the vision. So, and that is what their goal is. If I talk about Taiwanese company, they are working for the portable 5G network solutions designed for easy mobilization. Means somewhere you are going and you want to create that, okay, for a few days I want to connect the devices nearby. Can I have some portable 5G network? Yes, you can. Even in a disastrous situation where everything is destroyed, can you take the device over there and create that 5G network over there and establish the communication in the critical situations? So the researcher or scientist thinks for betterment of the humans. Nokia, if I talk about, of course, we don't hear anything about the company, but they are actually coming up to this. They have actually introduced themselves as a telecommunication company now in the Mobile World Congress 2023. They are working on solution for the industry sector, basically, and they are developing drone that can scan an entire warehouse, and they can significantly reducing the inventory time and eliminating manual intervention. So the accuracy level, detection, labor, everything is going to get reduced. So the CTO says that we are not going to see 6G until 2030, but we are developing specifications and defining use cases right now. They are going to move from a communications network to a sensory network, and this 6G network will have permanently active sensors. It won't be like life-based, and enabling a corresponding reaction for any movement detected. So this is a giant leap, and there is still a long way to go. Even they are working on parallel 5G advanced, where functionality to manage Internet of Things devices which don't consume much bandwidth but need high-speed network. And also they have improved the capabilities for supporting IoT devices and augmented reality applications, right? Where huge volume of data is going to be downloaded or uploaded. Now, if I just move on to the next version, that is 6G vision of India. See, till time I have tried to give you the hint that how the 0G to 5G and 5G advanced have been. But now, as India is one of the fastest growing country in the world in terms of technology and making India concept, Atmanirbhar Bharat, definitely India has to take a big step to compete in the world. So for that, India has announced a plan for 6G technology already to become a global voice in this area. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi sir has already unveiled the Bharat 6G version or vision document, which has recommended opening up more spectrum across all bands, including millimeter wave band, promoting research in the terahertz band. So here, if you see, the researchers who are working in this domain can definitely focus on that how terahertz can be utilized, how the spectrum sensor network can be created, where they should be active all the time, or replacement of the sensor at any in any emergency, developing a portable network with the disastrous situation. The vision document aims to position India as a global leader in 6G innovation. If our Prime Minister is having this vision, definitely we have to work towards that. And there are so many opportunities for the researchers. India plans to develop standards for 6G technology in the first phase of a mission that will span 2 years starting in 2023, which is going to follow as a second phase involving building a 6G ecosystem over the following 5 years until 2030. So at the world level, if I talk about, people are targeting that by 2030 you will be having 6G, right? 5G is already growing, but people are expecting 6G by 2030. So the goal is to provide high-speed internet that is about 1,000 times faster than 1 GB. Top speed of 5G. So fine, we are talking about 1G, we are talking about 10G, but it would be 1,000 times faster. Now, it's like saying 1,000 times, it's not easy, basically. People have already started working in developing the technology in such a way that it is going to provide you 1,000 times faster speed, right? So the quantum technology, then this FPGA development, VLSI development, AI, computing power development, all are going to play a role in a collective manner. Only these claims are possible to give. Lastly, if India is able to take lead in 6G, it can become a global voice in industry, and India has earned the distinction of being the fastest growing mobile market in the world. So you can think of, if as we are going to have the semiconductor industries, we are going to have manufacturing in India, chip development in India, how fast we can grow, what sort of possibility for the researchers are going to come, right? So yeah, with that, I would like to conclude that thank you so much for listening me. And I hope I have conveyed the message very easily, or particularly for the theme what we have gathered about. So thank you so much. If any questions, I would like to answer that. I hope I have maintained the time. Vishal sir, all good?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If any questions, I would like to answer, please.
Ma'am, there are some questions on YouTube.
Okay, so you need to read it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please.
A question from Meghna, ma'am. What are the emerging technologies in wireless communication where research is going on?
Okay, so as I said, that technologies are too good in terms of you can work on AR, VR, you can work on massive MIMO, you can work on quantum computing, that how it can be introduced, you can work on sensor communication, you can work on drone, you can work on navigation system. So everything collectively going to give you the service. It's nothing like only a single technology which is going to be added, and the 5G is going to come up, or 6G is going to come up, which was the situation from 1G to 2G, that if you just change from analog to digital, okay, that is fine, a new generation have come up. But now it is not like that. It is multifold evaluation which is coming up, and together they are playing a role and giving the service. I hope I have answered the question.
Right.
Thank you.
The second question, ma'am, from Ankita Gaikwad. how speed is going to increase in various networks from 1G to 5G?
Okay, in various networks, I would say these are heterogeneous networks. So it won't be directly from one end to the other end, you are going to have the highest speed. It is definitely heterogeneous. So the picocell to microcell to macrocell to higher level, the different protocols are going to play a very big role to support, because every device is not capable enough to support all sort of speed, because supporting a speed requires that many hardware and the computational capability, and that is not going to possible. It is also associated with the energy or the transmission power. So these are the factors which are required to focus on. So as I said, it is a combination of layers or hierarchical way the communication is going to happen, and the different speed is going to be supported.
Yes, ma'am. There is another question from Jayant Nene, sir. Is there propaganda on social media against 5G? Is there any substance to it?
Okay. Propaganda is, I am not the appropriate person to answer this. What I say, because I am an academician and I see in terms of the technology and the development to motivate the researchers and the students. So the company level thought process is totally different, but I would say people are thinking in a betterment of technology.
Yes, ma'am. There is one question left, ma'am, from Sagar Gunza. Does 4G and 5G networks can be working in the same mobile phone at time?
Right now, if you are with the higher version of it, definitely every generation is having backward compatibility up to certain extent, right? So we cannot throw away the things we are having or the developed infrastructure. So up to certain generation, definitely they have to support, but a newer version won't support 2G. I can say that because the SIM cards have changed. They have different connectivity and the portability or the facility with the hardware. So definitely maybe it can support 3G up to certain extent, but 4G, 5G, it's fine in a common phone.
Yes, ma'am. So I think questions are over. A wonderful session, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I hope I have conveyed the message for what I have been called.
More than expected, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Gosavi ma'am, one more question has been asked.
Yes, sir. Ma'am,
Yeah, I'm reading. Yeah,
Yes,
what
sir.
every technology has some ill effect which we have to tackle for progress. Are there any health or other threats in 5G? Sir, here I would say that without any scientific measurements, it's very difficult to say this. Definitely, we have seen certain social media comments that hitting and all that stuff is there. See, there is always a two sides of a coin, but it has to be tested with, I mean, after that only one can comment that how much they are going to affect. But I say that everything cannot be penetrated or not everything can be avoided too. So in a way, partially it is going to affect. But what level of extent, it requires years of data to identify whether it is due to wireless communication or with some other situation, because nowadays many factors are coming up.
Ma'am, one question left.
Yeah.
From Deva Kumar.
Yeah, please.
What are major challenges of least developed countries in universal connectivity? How can we overcome?
Yeah, so as I said, for the year 2023, the theme is to have connecting these least development countries. We know as in India, we are developing countries. So there are countries which are least developed, which are not still with the basic service of communication. But if we don't support them and bring them with us, they will be left behind forever. Because the pace that we have in the development of communication network is exponentially and too fast. It was initially that like within 10 years or decades were taking the time to change of a technology, and now it is years. It's like our generation or the students who are using, or the new generation is using 4G, they are easily getting switched to the 5G. So within 3-4 years, they are having change in the technology. So it is going to play a role.
Ma'am, next question.
See, as I said, Japan is achieving 7G, but why India is not achieved this? Sir, I would say we cannot, blindly follow any third country. We should see our capability and strength to go step by step. we can create our own milestone rather following any third country's progress, so that our engineers or our young generation researchers or innovators have to play a role that we may reach to the 8th generation before 7th generation of Japan.
Yes, ma'am. I hope questions are over from all participants.
Okay.
Ma'am, it's the time of vote of thanks. I request Vipul Mehta sir, fellow of IEI, and also Honorable Secretary of Nasik Local Center IEI MSc, to express vote of thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. First of all, thanks to the speaker, Shweta ma'am, for a delightful and an informative session. She has put in tremendous effort in making us aware of the generations of the technology has gone through from past 18th century till date, and the future what it is hold in telecommunication. It is wonderful that we today's generation should know what are the good effects and the bad effects. Always there are two sides of a coin, as she rightly said. So it is always we think in a positive way as an Indians and help the least developing countries to build up their infrastructure. So we should be using the technology on the same platform where the developing countries are being using right now. Thanks, man, on showing the various generations which today the world has gone through from no G to 5G. I thank Chairman Sir, Honorable Secretary Kamble Sir also, and special thanks to Wankade Sir for arranging such a informative session on the same day of World Telecommunication and Information Society Day. Thanks everybody for participating and getting the insight of what the telecommunication and information technology owns today, and what hardship have they gone through in their own way to reach this and give us a, you can say, very stressful and peaceful life we are living right now by using this technology in every aspect, from younger kids which they have faced during COVID for using online sessions till date what we are doing, businesses and engineers are using it. Thank you everybody for being present at this session. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, sir. Finally, it's the time to conclude. In conclusion, I would like to reiterate our heartfelt appreciation to each and every one of you who has contributed to the success of this expert talk jointly organized by III Local Nasik Center and SHJB Polytechnic College Sandwood. It is through such a collaborative efforts that we can create a better future for ourselves and our society. Let us carry the torch of knowledge forward and continue to inspire and uplift one another. Thank you all once again and have a wonderful evening ahead. Ma'am, thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
I
everyone.
hope it is a beginning. I
Yes,
want
absolutely.
to be with you in the next
Thank you.
sessions also.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Vishal. Thank you.